Well, hello, my friends. Here we are at our fitness audit, and whether this is your year-end audit or your opportunity where you just wanted to get started on something, maybe you realize that things in your fitness are going in all the wrong directions, and you really just need to take a step back to take a step forward. You can use this process anytime. If you're not familiar with me, I'm Jill Ortiz of Jill Ortiz Fitness and the creator of Jill Ortiz Empowered Fitness Mastery. And so I'm here to walk you through, to introduce you to this workshop that I created and to take you through the audit. And today we're actually just going to take you through two sections. And so we have 3 days. The first day we're going to be going through fitness and nutrition. Day 2 is about time management, routines, and accountability. And then day 3 is going to be on mindset, motivation, and goal setting. And so you're welcome to be part of this. Now, here's what I have for you. You should have access to this sheet here. And it might look like it's in color in whatever way I've given it to, whether it be email or website or in a Facebook group. I don't have a color printer, and that doesn't matter. So mine is in black and white here, but I did print it out. Now, if you do not have a printer, then all you have to do is really just make the headings on a piece of paper. And so what I also have here is I found on the floor is my son's scrap paper from his long division when we were doing his math homework yesterday, or maybe it was 3 days ago and it was still on the floor. And so this is also a great way to do this, is to just grab a piece of paper or a notebook or your journal, for those of you who have a journal, and to write notes either with me or on your own, answering questions, letting everything out. I do suggest using a pen and a piece of paper to just let the thoughts flow. I will be giving you prompting questions on each of these things, several questions, so that you know what aspects you actually should be asking yourself and auditing yourself on in each of the categories. And then you can either take what's most important of that and transcribe that onto your official audit and send me your audit. Or I've also had people type boxes. They've downloaded this and put it into a format, either Canva or PowerPoint, where they could then add text boxes and write their answers in and send it to me as maybe a PDF or a JPEG. Or I've also had people just write me an email and send it off, Jill at jillortizfitness.com. And that's an amazing way for us to now discuss what's going on. You're going to have so much knowledge as to what you did and what worked and didn't work, and what you need to do for going forward or next year or whatever the time frame is for you. And we can discuss that. We can work on it together and make a plan of action, because action is always what's going to get you the results. But having great knowledge of what worked and didn't, super important too. Making a plan, super important. So, as well, what I've done to make a plan and execute this properly is make all of my notes. So I already figured out what are all the questions that I want to be asking you, and what are my key aspects, my keys to success for each of these things. And so I have that ready for you, and I'm excited to share that with you. So let me know, we're here, I'm ready to do this and get it done. And when you complete a section, you let me know whether you want to send it to me, post it, email me, section it by section, or the whole thing at the end. I just want to know you're working on it, that you're taking action, okay? So let's get started with the fitness portion. Again, if you have this and you want to make notes on here, that's fine. If you have a piece of paper and you want to make notes, that's fine. If you need my prompting questions written out so that you can go in a quiet space without me talking at you, and do this later in a quiet space, then you can always ask me for my notes as well. You know how to find me in all of my social media outlets, comment or email, or I don't know, show up at my door. I don't care. As long as I know you're doing the work, it makes me feel good. So let's start with fitness, okay? So when we are trying to figure out if our fitness plan worked for us this year, we want to start by saying, okay, well, what did we do? What types of fitness or fitness programs did we complete this year? So I got to think all the way back to the beginning of the year. And you know what I love, and I didn't print one out or bring it over for you, is that I always love for myself and my business, and for my clients and their fitness is to have a printout of the calendar and to say, okay, January's here. What's my plan? Here it is. And, for my business is I just constantly staple pages and pages and pages onto each other. And so that for me goes back years. And so I know what I was doing last December. I know what I did last January. I know if it worked or if it didn't work. And I know what I did for fitness and nutrition. And so what types of fitness did you do? What programs, maybe of mine, maybe somebody else's on another platform, did you complete? Or was it maybe you're like, wait, was I supposed to be doing a program? Was there supposed to be some structure of what I was supposed to do? You need to ask yourself that, okay? So we have to ask, what did we do? And so that's what we want to start with, and write down any types of fitness that you did. Maybe it's, I ran on the treadmill, we also want to know, what time of day did you work out? How did that work out? Did you plan to do it in the morning and did it work out? Did you plan to do it in the evening? And did you always say, forget it, I don't want to do this? So the time, okay? How about your location? Where did you work out? Did you work out in your house? Did you work out at the gym? Did that work out for you? Were you going to work out at a gym that's an hour away? And so therefore, most days you just said, forget it. It's not worth it. Maybe we need to take a look at, are you working out in the right place? Maybe if you work out at home, there will be less barriers to getting it done. So let's start thinking about that, okay? The next thing I want you to ask is, did you enjoy the style of what you were doing? Did you enjoy the style of workout? So if maybe you told me, all right, Jill, like all you're going to do all year long is dance and that's it. I'd be like, man, I like to dance, but not as my daily workout. I need some weightlifting in there, right? So did you enjoy the style of working out? And it's funny because I was talking to somebody recently and she was talking about running and how much running she does. And I said, oh, you love to run? She said, oh, I hate running. I just do it to lose weight. I said, oh, I don't think I could do something that I didn't like. So did you enjoy the style? Okay. The next question I'm going to ask you is, did you track your progress? I know I love it when I hear from my clients. I've heard from Alita, my client Alita, last couple of days. As she finished each of her workouts, she let me know what weights she used, and how she know what weights she used. She wrote them down. And how does she know next week what to do? She wrote them down. She's tracking her weight, so she knows if she's getting stronger, right? So are you tracking your progress? Whether it's how much you're doing in weights, or how many miles you're running, or the pace that you were able to keep up, okay? How are you tracking your fitness progress? How do you know if you're getting better? Are you running your faster mile? Are you setting PRs with weightlifting? Personal records. Are you stronger? Are you faster? Are you more flexible? Okay, now you can either write these notes down as I asked so you know what you should be answering, or you can actually answer these questions, or you can ask me for my notes too if you need it written out. Do you know if the work that you did this year was in line with your goals? Okay, and so that's a mini training that I'm working on now, is that many women make the mistake of doing the wrong things. Like if you're telling me that you want to get strong and toned and build lean muscle in your arms because you want your arms to look good in a tank top, and I ask you, what are you doing every day? And you say, oh, I'm running. So, well, running, that's not really going to build the muscles in your arms, is it? So do you know if you're doing the right exercise to get to the goals that you want to get to? Okay? And now I want you to rate yourself at the end of this, okay? So somewhere on your audit, you're going to put a number from 1 to 10. 1 being that maybe your routine wasn't as effective as you wanted it to be. And number 10, it was so effective. You achieved all your goals. You did great. You loved it. It was in the right time. It was the right place. Everything went so well. Then give yourself a 10. Or maybe you're somewhere in between, okay? Be kind, be gentle, but be truthful with yourself, okay? And anywhere that's below 10, it's just opportunity, okay? It's not failure, it's opportunity for improvement. And so this is the big part, is what do you want and need to change in 2023 to do better, okay? What do you want or need to do in 2023 to do better in your fitness? And if you need help figuring that out, that's what I'm here for, okay? I want to give you 2 keys to success with fitness. Number 1, super important, something that we learn on day 1 when you become a personal trainer like me. Our NASM certification, National Academy of Sports Medicine, teaches us that the body quickly adapts to what we're doing, okay? And that we have to be ahead of that adaptation. So if you did the same thing from January to December, and you kind of said like, hey, I was so consistent. I did that thing every single day. I didn't get any results. Then that's why. It's because you have to be ahead of that adaptation. And what got you from point A to point B in January is not going to get you to point C in December. It's going to be new things. It's going to be up-leveling. It's going to be changing so that your body doesn't continuously adapt, but it stays challenged and you keep up-leveling and growing and getting stronger and faster, okay? And seeing the body transform. And then the second thing is to be consistent. So it has to be consistent with regards to the type of the fitness that you're doing, your enjoyment of it, the time and the location as to whether that works, if it's yielding results. You have to be really consistent with staying on top of the journey. And so that's all we got to do is figure these things out. Now, I know not everybody is a personal trainer. That's why I became a personal trainer, because I wanted to learn. I wanted to know exactly what was going to work for me so that then I could help other people. And it's funny because I'll tell you a quick story is that I was actually working in a gym teaching group fitness before I became a personal trainer. And it was really people coming up to me and saying, Jill, how do I get your arms? How do I get your abs? How do I get your tight butt? I want that. And I said, well, I know what to do now. I'm learning, but I want to learn more and I want to teach you. And so that was when I decided to get my personal trainer certification, was that I really wanted to be able to help other people. And I kind of knew what to do, but I really wanted to be certified so that I could technically help them. Okay. All right. So let's move on to nutrition. Again, you can rewatch this. You can ask me for my fitness audit notes if you need these. I can send them to you. That's not hard. But let's move on to nutrition, okay? Because I wanted to keep this short. So for nutrition, I want to know what framework or frameworks did you follow? Now, this might be totally foreign to you. If you've been in my sphere, you've heard me say this over and over and over again, that you have to have frameworks for nutrition, at least one to get you started so that you have something to follow, guidelines, rules, some way to know if you're on track, if you're doing all the right things. So you can check the box and say, all right, here's what my framework says. I did this. I'm doing it all right. Then you should be getting results. But if you're not even following, how do you know if you're doing the right things? You really can't check anything off, and you can't know if you should be on the right track and getting results. And a lot of times that's where all the frustration comes, is when we don't even know what we should be doing, so we don't even know if we're doing it. Or we think we're doing what we should be doing, but we're doing the wrong things because we didn't have something that was scientific and said this is exactly what you do to get these results. Okay? So when it comes to my clients, I want you guys writing down which frameworks you were using and when, and which ones worked best for you and which ones you could toss out the window. But it's great to have more than one eventually, and I try to teach at least 4 to my clients, so that if you don't feel like doing one, you do another. But you always have something, and that's a rule that I follow too, especially if I see that I'm kind of getting off track, if I'm unhappy with what I'm seeing, with what I'm feeling, if something doesn't seem right, then I know the answer is to go back to one of my frameworks. Now, I teach some that I'm certified in, so other programs from other people that I've gotten certified in, and some of my frameworks I've created. And so you might hear me talk about portion control, mindful nutrition, intermittent fasting, carb cycling, my Kickstart cleanses, my macros program, okay? These are all different frameworks. So then if you know your framework, or maybe you didn't have one, did you track your foods? Okay, did you track what you ate? Because I know that if you track what you eat and you send that to me, I could probably tell you where your red flags are. But if you didn't track, how are we going to have that conversation? How are you going to know what you did? How are you going to know what worked and what didn't? Okay, did you track? And did you plan? Because if you had a plan and you knew the plan followed a framework and you followed the plan, then we got to know where you might have gone wrong. Or if everything went right, we know why. Okay? I want to know, did you try any fad diets this year? And what happened? Did they work? Were they totally miserable failure? Did they work for a little bit, but then not after a while? Did you lose a lot of weight? Did you gain it all back? Did you gain more? Or was it sustainable? Did you enjoy it? How long were you able to sustain? Okay? These are good things to be asking yourself to know if something is right for you. Okay? So did you feel like your framework, if you followed one, fit your lifestyle? If you didn't have a framework, what happened with your nutrition? How would you say it went this year? And maybe write out what your normal daily nutrition is like, and maybe see if you can spot anything. If not, we'll do this together, and I'll tell you what I spot. And finally, I want you to rate yourself again, 1 to 10. Whether your nutrition plan was effective. Did it help you get to your goals? Are you totally unsure? Was it a miserable failure? Do you feel like you gained a lot of weight because you maybe didn't follow anything, or you tried and you kind of ended up in the same place? Again, give yourself grace, be kind, but be fair, okay? And then the couple keys I want to leave you with on nutrition, if you haven't heard already, you need to track. It doesn't mean you have to track forever, but you have to track until you understand what works for you and what doesn't. And it's the same thing with the framework. You have to have a framework and be excited to learn new frameworks. They're fun, especially when you can kind of jump from one to another. But you have to have a framework until you've got this down pat. So as long as you're not where you want to be, you got to work within a framework. And even if you are, you're still going to want to know your frameworks. Okay? And then the next thing is that the big thing is I don't want you to be depriving yourself in nutrition. That's not the point. Because the more you deprive yourself, the more you're going to deprive yourself to the point of wanting to binge. And so we need to find that happy medium, that balance. Okay? So we want to go back and we want to say to ourselves, have I been trying to deprive myself? And is that maybe what's causing me to then binge later? Okay? Or maybe you're just not holding back at all. And maybe you're just completely binging all the time. That's something to note as well. Okay? So fitness and nutrition, I want you to make all your notes. I'll send you my notes. I'll post these. I see a couple of people want these. And let's show up tomorrow and we'll do this again. Okay? And so the next one is going to be time management, routines, and accountability. We're going to go over those ones. Now, at the end of this workshop, once you're all done, I will want to talk to you. I'm going to make time. I've got time on my schedule coming up. And if you would like, I've given you the link, either in the post or in the worksheet or in an email, where you can schedule a call with me right now. If you want first dibs, if you know you've got a busy schedule and you know you're going to want to talk to me about this stuff, just schedule it a couple days out. Or if you feel ready, if you kind of like go over all these things ahead of time and you already know, what's going on, all these things, go ahead and take that opportunity to take time with me. And we can take what we learn from this audit. We'll go over it, go through it, and we'll make a plan for you, plan of action. All right? So that's it for today. I hope this was helpful. Let me know. And I'll see you for the next. Bye-bye.